Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys I'm going to be profiling for you my Marauding Captain deck. Now you may be asking yourselves, who is Marauding Captain and what the heck is a Marauding Captain deck? Now I've profiled this deck on the channel before, so I'll quickly explain what this deck does. The Marauding Captain deck came about back when Exceeds were first starting to come into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I wanted to learn the Exceeds mechanic. But at the same time, Synchros were still very powerful at that time in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And were the mainstay of the game. So I wanted to make a deck back then that would use Exceeds and Synchros, combine them together just to have some old-fashioned fun and learn the game mechanic. This is a deck that I've always used to help beginners learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it teaches the basic fundamentals of Yu-Gi-Oh! For the most part, I feel like. But it's just a fun, generic deck to play in general. There's no real theme to the deck except the fact that it does use a lot of warriors. You run Rhoda at 3, so it does run a lot of warriors, and it also runs a lot of spellcasters. So it's kind of an XYZ synchro deck that can go for rank 4 and rank 3 synchro plays, and everything from rank level 8, 7, 6, and 5 synchro plays. But the reason I call it the Marauding Captain deck is because Marauding Captain was a fun card back in the day to play with, and he really helps precipitate, make the deck run very efficiently by running him as a 3-0, thanks to Rhoda being back at 3. So it's a really fun deck to play with. I would suggest to highly play it if you want to have some good old-fashioned fun, especially if you're an old nostalgia player. But it's not super competitive. It's just a more casual, fun deck that I play around with, and I love playing the deck because it's just so crazy and people do not know what the heck the deck does when they first see it in action. So, first we run 3 Marauding Captain. Marauding Captain helps go for your rank 3, level 3 Exceed plays, your ranks 6, your level 6, your level 5, your level 7 synchro play. So he just helps out with a whole bunch of things. He's my favorite card in the deck by far. I mean, I love Marauding Captain from back in the day from playing with him. And you have to keep in mind too, if you from your old school players, if you remember this, back in the day, what you could do and you can still do is if you have 2 Marauding Captains out on the field, because of his effect, your opponent can't attack either or of your Marauding Captains because they have to attack one before the other. But they can't attack either or, so they can't attack your monsters that are warrior based, excuse me. So that's very nice. You can easily do that because you can easily search out another one with Rhoda, and if you're really in a bind, just go for the Marauding Captain lock. That old school play. So next we run 2 Goblinberg. People may want to run Goblinberg at 3 in this deck, but I have found through playing the deck a lot that I only need 2 Goblinberg. He's easily searchable when I need them. 3 is a little bit more cloggy for the most part, so I just like running him as a 2-of. I find Marauding Captain can be a little bit more helpful than Goblinberg actually, so that's why I run him only as a 2-of. Next, I run 2 Trident Warrior. Now, if you haven't noticed already or read any of these card effects, however, don't know what these monsters do, you'll notice that Marauding Captain, Goblinberg, and Trident Warrior all have similar type of effects. What do I mean by that? When they are normal summoned, you can special summon another monster. And because of that reason, that helps you go for synchro plays and Exceeds plays. So that's what these 3 main monsters do: Marauding Captain, Goblinberg, and Trident Warrior. The nice thing about Trident Warrior is you do run BLS in the deck, so he is a light attribute, which comes in handy. Plus the fact that he's 1,800 attack, so he can put in some damage right there. But he's another monster that helps go for your Exceed and Synchro plays. Then we run 3 Shiny Knight, which as time has gone on, I've found this card to be very, very helpful in the deck as time has progressed in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I've really valued this card. Originally I ran it as a 1-of, then I found it was more useful, and then I ran it as a 2-of, then a 3-of eventually, and I love the card to death. So first off, it is a light attribute, which helps BLS around, but also for the fact that he is in 1,900 defense, so he can be a defensive wall, a small defensive hurdle to get over in some aspects, depending upon the situation that arises in the duel. But what he's really nice to be used for is to go for rank 3 Exceed plays and rank 4 Exceed plays. Now you may say, how would you do that? Well, with Shiny Knight, when he's in attack position, he becomes a level 3. But when he's in defense position, face up defense position, he becomes a level 4. So with Marauding Captain, if you have a Marauding Captain in your hand and you normal summon Shiny Knight in attack position, go for a level 3 Exceed. If you have a Goblinberg, or a Trident Warrior, you can go, okay, Normal summon Goblinberg with Trident Warrior, special summon him in defense position, he becomes a level 4, exceed into a level 4. Simple mathematics like that. So he's very useful. He's a warrior attribute, which he is searchable, and that makes him just as good because you can search him out. Next we run 2 Feedback Warrior. Feedback Warrior is strictly in here for the fact that he helps go for your level 3 exceed plays. Now I don't run a lot of level 3 exceeds in the deck to begin with. I wish the extra deck would get expanded for this deck because this deck could easily run maybe, you know, a whole bunch, 20 extra deck cards, and you would probably use every single one of them out of different situations because the entire extra deck is very crammed full of cards that you need to play to get your plays off. So if you want to run more rank 3 exceeds, go right ahead. I'm going to leave that up to you, the player, to decide. But first we run 3 Feedback Warrior. He helps go for your rank 3 exceeds. Same thing with Shiny Knight because he's a level 3. You can use him with Marauding Captain, Trident Warrior, and Goblinberg and help go for rank 3 plays easier. Then we run for your tuners. We run Rose Warrior of Revenge, Delta Flyer, and Unknown Synchron. These are your 3 tuners that you use to help go into plays. I run Rose Warrior of Revenge now because of the fact that Rhoda is at 3. She is searchable. You can use her with Goblinberg, so you can go into an instant level 8 synchro play. Delta Flyer, I would run him as a 2 of instead and take Rose Warrior of Revenge out. But the fact that he's non-searchable and he's kind of like a floater, and if you get him, you get him. If you don't, you don't. That's the reason I only run him as a 1 of. But he's very useful in the deck because of the fact that you can go with him with Marauding Captain, or you can go with him with Trident Warrior, Goblinberg, whatever. Use his effect, go for rank 7s and level 7s and level 8 synchro plays. And Unknown Synchron helps you go for level 6 and level 5 synchro plays in a pinch if you're really tight for space. So he's Unknown Synchron is very useful, and nobody really uses an Unknown Synchron unless you're going against a Junk or a Quasar-esque deck. So he's never going to be really dead. So I really like him as those are my 3 main tuners. And you can reuse Rose Warrior of Revenge with Warrior Returning Alive, which is really nice in the deck. Then we use 2 Gravekeeper Spy. These are the only 2 Gravekeepers you use, and I'll explain why I use them and why I only run 2 of them. So you could run 3 Gravekeeper Spy in the deck if you really wanted to, but I honestly am going to tell you off the bat, you may say at first, you only have 1 other target for either or of the Gravekeeper Spies. I'm going to say right now, 1 out of every maybe 7 to 8 duels that I duel with this deck will I ever draw both Gravekeeper's Spy in my opening hand. Very rarely does that happen to me. So I don't really concern myself with thinking, oh my gosh, what happens if I draw both Gravekeeper's Spy? It really doesn't happen that much, if at all. The reason I run it Gravekeeper Spy is kind of, if you remember how Monarchs used to function way back in the day, they utilized Gravekeeper Spy in an aspect that I kind of am utilizing now in this deck. So what they used to use Gravekeeper Spy for as a defensive wall in Monarchs and for tribute fodder. So they would put, 1 Gravekeeper Spy down, your opponent attacks, you get another Gravekeeper Spy out, you can have 1 in defensive position, and you contribute the other to get maybe a Caius out of your deck, or something of that nature. So that's how they used to use it in Monarchs. But I use this in this deck because it helps you go for exceeds and synchro plays. So it instantly, if you have 1 in your deck, it thins your deck out. You can go for a rank 4 exceed play just like that. She's a dog attribute, which helps out with getting BLS out of the deck to begin with. So she's very useful. She's a 2,000 wall because she can protect you from, she's your biggest defender, so in a pinch she can put up some defense, even though Necro Valley you don't run in the deck. 2,000 defense is very respectable in some aspects, I would say. So she is very nice in a lot of aspects. She can help you go for synchro exceed plays while still having a defensive presence on the board. So if you flip summon her up, you can have a defensive monster on the board in case your play backfires on you. So I like it because of that aspect. Then we run a lot of 1-ofs. If I didn't say already, this deck runs some 1-of standalone good monsters that can be helpful in a pinch. So I will go over some of those monsters at this exact moment. So first off, we run Injection Fairy Lily over here. I love Injection Fairy Lily. I will never cut this card from the deck because I love her so freaking much. So why do I run Injection Fairy Lily? It helps get over big monsters, which this deck has always had a problem with to begin with. She's easily special summonable through Marauding Captain, Trident Warrior, and Goblinberg. So you can easily go Trident Warrior, special summon Injection Fairy Lily, pay 2,000 life points, destroy your opponent's big monster, and then attack with a Trident Warrior, game. Very useful card, very utility-wise, it's very useful, and I really like her. And I've always liked her even from back in the day when she was at a card that was at 1 of. Fire Fencing Ferret is a card you could run as a 1 of or 2 of, but 1,700 attack is kind of respectable in some aspects. Plus the effect is very nice to popping a monster on the field, so it gets around problematic cards, and it can be used for Exceed fodder as well. Marsh Mulan, the reason why we do run Marsh Mulan is because that's 1,000 burden damage. It can win you games, but not just for that matter. The deck sometimes, you'll get to a point where you used some resources, you can use some of your resources up and you need to wait maybe a turn or so, and Marsh Mulan can buy you that time. And Breaker the Magical Warrior is just, in my opinion, is probably one of the best standalone monsters of all time. When it has a counter on the field, you can attack with a 19 beat stick, or you can pop an opponent's card on the field, spell or trap card, and then swing for 1,600. So it's really useful in the deck, and I really like it as a 1 of standalone monster. Then we run one other standalone monster that I want to talk a little bit more about, and that's called Quackimira Blitzkrieg. I call it, it's Quackimira Berserker or Quackimira Blitzkrieg. I'm probably butchering the name, but that's what I've always called it. People always correct me down in the comments section about this card. But let me explain to you what this card does. So, it's a 2,000 warrior, 2,000 level warrior, which is searchable with Rhoda, which can come in handy. It's a rank 4. You have to reveal, just like any Quackimira, you have to reveal something, but you have to reveal a warrior type monster for him to stay on the field. And like I said before, this deck runs a slew of warriors, so you can keep him alive. The nice thing is if he destroys a monster on field, you can attack again. So you can destroy a monster on field, then attack directly for 2,000. Not too bad. Plus you can use him for Exceed and Synchro Fodder. And he's just a nice little standalone little beat stick that I like in the deck, just as a fun card to play around with. Then we run the boss monster of the deck, so to speak, I guess you could say, is 1 BLS. You do run darks in your extra deck, plus the fact that you do run a good amount of darks in your main deck, so you can use BLS. He can win you duels. You could have destroyed your opponent's resources and then bring out BLS and just clean house. So I do like 1 BLS in the deck. Then we run, thank gosh, Rhoda's at 3, because it just doesn't help warrior type of decks. It can just help fun little quirky decks like this that I built. So 3 Rhoda, it's your searcher of the deck to search out all your warrior needs. You run a lot of warriors, so you can search out a lot of warriors to go for, special plays, Exceed plays, Synchro plays, whatever it is. So 3 Rhoda. Then we run 2 Warrior Returning Alive, so you can reuse your resources. The main resources you're going to use with Warrior Returning Alive are Marauding Captain, Goblinberg, Trident Warrior. So you can normal summon, then special summon another monster, make Exceed and Synchros, things like that. Then we run 2 MST, because it's MST, helps with any problems out there in today's game, like Vanity's Emptiness, Skill Drain, Pendulums, whatever. All those first world Yu-Gi-Oh problems, I guess you could say. Then we run for your 1-ofs, we run Regeki, Soul Charge, Snatch and Steal, Book of Moon. Pretty good lineup. I run all the 1-of spells because they can come in handy. Regeki help clear your opponent's board. Soul Charge is amazing in this deck because if you've got used a lot of your resources up, you can just go Soul Charge, pay whatever amount of life points you want to, and do some more funny plays and combo plays. Snatch and Steal, worst case scenario, steal your opponent's monster, beat it down with them, and Book of Moon can disrupt your opponent's plays. So I still like it in this deck build. Then we run for your traps. We run pretty much my standard trap lineup that I still like. 2 D Prison to deal with anything out there in the game, really. So 2 D Prison. 2 Fiendish Chain, which is very useful. You could run Breakthrough Skill in this deck. I've tried it out recently. You can run it if you want to, but I just prefer Fiendish Chain because sometimes you don't want your small little monsters to get run over. So 2 Fiendish Chains. Then I run the 1-of traps, Bottomless Trapple, Torrential Tribune, Compulsory Evacuation Device. I don't run Solemn Warning in the deck, even though Solemn Warning, in my opinion, is still good, because you already have Soul Charge, you already have Injection Fair Lily, and you're all going to take some hits with this deck to already begin with, so you don't want to just waste all your life points. Very frivolously, is what I'm saying. Now on to the extra deck. I'm going to say right now that the extra deck, guys, for the most part, run what you want to run. This is just what I'm running currently. You don't have to run it. The way I'm doing it, it's up to you as the player, because your extra deck space is going to be very, very tight. Your main thing you're going to be going for is your rank 4 exceeds. You will go into some rank 3 exceeds. If you want to add more of them by taking a card out here or there, be my guest. And you're going to go into a good amount of synchros as well. So keep those things in mind when choosing the extra deck. But this is just what I'm running currently. You can run something else if you want to add some more level 3 exceed monsters. So we run Exciton Knight for blowing up the board, Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon over here so you can run over things. Dark Attribute helps get to your BLS out. Same thing with Black Ship of Corn, Dark Attribute. Get around problematic cards, 103 Ragnar 0 to get around whatever type of cards you're dealing with. 101 Silent Arc Honors Knight to get around, take special summon monsters, attack directly, things like that. Then for your other rank 4s, we run Castel and Daijin the Maestro, Symphony Daijin the Maestro. I still like Symphony Daijin in this particular deck because he is a dark attribute monster, which is nice, but also for the fact that he can help you get around big monsters that are annoying. Castel, just spin things back to the deck if you want to. So, yeah. Then we run for your 2 level 3 exceeds. If you want to run more of them, go right ahead. I'm just very tight in the extra deck for space at the moment. If you want to take one of the rank 4 exceeds out, go right ahead and do that. But we run 1 Ghost Trick Alucard and 117 Leviathan Dragon just as a beat stick. So that's what you want. If you want to run Fortune Tune or Wind Up Zenmayo or whatever, go right ahead. Then for your synchros, you run 1 level 5 Armored Deities, Keeper of the Boundaries. 6, your level 6, you run Go Your Guardian. Your level 7s, you run Scrap Archfiend and Black Rose Dragon. So you can nuke the field. Then for your 2 level 8 synchro plays, we run Stardust Spark Dragon and Red Hot Dragon Archfiend. I just like these 2 level 8 synchro monsters the best. If you want to run something else, go right ahead. So that is the extra deck for you guys. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this deck profile. This is just a fun little wonky deck that I built, and it's just a fun creative deck. It's not super competitive, it's not supposed to be, it's just supposed to be an old fun deck, and I love fun decks. So I hope you guys like this. I would try it out. A lot of people, when they first see this deck in action, they're like, what the fudge does this deck even do? And then they see what it does, and they're like, ooh, this is kind of fun to play with. It's a fun little toy. So guys, so next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, go Marauding Captain, old school archetype cards. So guys, take care everybody, Seto Kaiba, I'm out of here guys, till next time. Good luck dueling to all of you.